Hey Tony, love to see your smiling face. How are you?
It's good to see you too. Hello, welcome to almost Christmas. There you go.
Black Xmas, right?
Yeah, Black Christmas. That's
Black
right.
Christmas.
Just the way the Pope likes it.
Yes, yes, love it. um, so first of all, I have to ask you, how was the show in Newcastle?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, the thing was, it's 40 years since I've been home and played at home, and at least 40 years. And it was incredible, see a lot of old friends and new friends and old fans and new fans. A lot of musicians that were back in the day in the scene, Satan and Avenger and all of the bands. It was great. It was so good to be there. Just a shame that Mantas couldn't be with us, but it life is life, and that's how it goes. But yeah, it was tremendous, and we had a brilliant time. Played so many songs, played songs that we'd never played before. I got Al Bonds from Temples of Ice, and obviously from the Primeval era, he came up, and I told him to bring a guitar. We played Tribes, which was the opening track on Temples of Ice, which we'd never ever played live before. And the last time we played it was when we recorded it. So it was great to have Al with us and to play that. And we back to back Megalomania and Primeval, which was amazing. We'd never done that before. So yeah, there were so many great things. Of course, we played some old Venom classics because we were home, and why not? That's the scene of the crime, as it were. So yeah, we had a great night with every fantastic day, of course, and played along with I Hate God and Goto, who from Nola, who are old friends, and we toured together. So yeah, and Discharge, who were amazing, and so yeah, all the way around, it was brilliant, really brilliant.
Was this the last show for 2024?
Yeah, it was the last one of the season. I mean, we've had quite an eventful time in the last year and a half. But yeah, we did a full season. We began with Hammersonic in Jakarta in Indonesia, and then we ran through South America with Possessed, which was amazing. All of the shows have been so amazing. And then we went into Europe and we did Romania. Then we played Poland and Rock, which was incredible to 500,000 people. I've seen nothing like that before. And then Montecrilo in France. And then a couple of the days we played Mexico, in Mexico City at the festival, which was amazing too. Saw lots of friends there and bands, and yeah, just amazing. And then we ended the season with a show in Newcastle. So it seemed really fitting to conclude everything in Newcastle, which was kind of the scene of the beginning of everything anyway. So it was very nice to do that.
So,
Yeah.
how easy slash difficult was it to find a guitarist and a drummer for Venom Inc?
Well, it wasn't so hard because drummers wise, I don't know what it is with drummers. Maybe I'm a twat and I'm hard to work with. I don't really know. I try to be very benevolent, very forgiving, and very open and very honest about things, and I try to make it work for everybody. But I guess some people, they want different things, and maybe the ego comes into it a bit too much, and I don't deal with ego very well. I can't be arsed with that shit. I just want to play music, and the politics is not of any interest to me. It's not of any interest to the fans. So the infighting and the I can't be bothered with all that stuff. It's like it's not important. It's just like live and just have fun with it. So I guess some people just feel unhappy, and then I want to let them go and say, go be happy somewhere else then. If you don't want to be happy here, then I don't want to be unhappy. So fuck off and be happy wherever you are. So, but I think when Mantis had the first occasion, we did the first half of the American tour, and then his wife got sick. Obviously, he'd had his first heart attack, but he was doing okay. But he doesn't really like touring. Then she got sick, so he said, I can't do the second half of the tour. But it was a very short gap. I had a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, okay, I'll see what I can do, but I wasn't holding out any hope. And then I contacted Mike Hickey, who of course did Calm Before the Storm in the Venom camp, and the Kronos band. I knew he'd done played with Carcass and everybody else. So I just called Mike and said, Mike, I've got this problem with Jeff. I have to do the second half of the tour. I'd rather not cancel if I can. And me and Jeff thought maybe someone could dip in, but it's short notice. So I thought, you already know a lot of the
Right.
material. So it means we'd have to kind of rely on the older stuff a bit more. But if you could learn some of the new stuff would be great too, which he did. but yeah, he said, yeah, absolutely. So he did the second half of the tour, which was amazing. Very different to me and Manchester dynamic. And he's a consummate guitarist, but he was walking over his silk shirt and his kind of LA, kind of California thing, which is very funny. He's an amazing musician, Berkeley trained, and an amazing individual, and was so much fun to be with. But it was a kind of different dynamic. But the fans all came, and everybody loved it, and the reaction was amazing. So then I had Jakarta, and I thought, okay, we've got Hammer Sonic, which we've been chasing for a while, and I need to think about that, whether we should do it or not. And Mike then couldn't do it. He couldn't leave America. He had a bit of a legality problem, so he got stuck and went out, fuck, I can't leave America. I was like, no. So I thought, okay, well, I'll forget it. And then I had an issue with our drummer over a show in Mexico. And it started to become a bit too political. And I just said, listen, let's just say enough's enough. You go away, do what you want to do, and I'll continue myself. And so I thought, well, I wanted to get Mark Jackson back. And I think me and Mantas had wanted to get Mark Jackson back very early on. To do the VENOM INC thing, and he'd been with us in Empire of Evil, sorry, and so I just went to Jackson. He was with Acid Rain and playing with a couple of other bands, and I just said, Mark, would you be interested? He said, I've been waiting for you to call. Yes. So that was okay, and I knew he could handle everything because he's next level drummer. So he already had a load of stuff under his belt, and so he went to work on the new stuff. And then I contacted a guy called Curran Murphy, who was with the opening band who did the second half of the tour in the US, 72 Legions. And he's slightly older than some of the guys in his band. And he'd been with Nevermore and Annihilator, with Jeff Waters and Annihilator. So I knew he had the chops. Slightly different stylistic, but I watched him every night in the support band, and I thought, that guy looks like he's bursting at the seams. I wonder what happened if you gave him a full stage. He looks like he'd go off like a firework. So I listened to everything he'd done before and thought, well, yeah, he can play all this stuff. So I tentatively asked him, would he be interested in maybe coming to Jakarta to step in and fill in for Mantas because of the situation? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So I threw him like 30 songs. He learned as much as he could. We flew out to Jakarta, and I thought, well, we'll try this, and if it works, then it's great. And if it doesn't work, then that's okay. We give it our best shot. We'll just wait for Jeff to get well, and whatever happens, happens. And we went on stage, and he smashed the shit out of it. And I was, I've been playing this for a long time. I've been Venom in one way or another for 36 years of the years, and 40 plus years since I've been playing. So for me to be impressed or overwhelmed on stage is quite a task, and they both blew my mind. They blew me away completely. And it's not a case of, because I think when bands have issues with members or they rejiggle the whole thing, they always go, oh, this is the best lineup we ever had, and the other guys couldn't. And that's not the case, because I've been very fortunate to play with very incredible musicians all the time, even Abaddon, maybe he's not the best drummer in the world, but he's a massive personality. He was fun to be around, and he's Abaddon. So, so I've always had that fortunate side, very luckily. And but these two guys, their playing level was just, and then their performance on top. And I thought, fucking hell, we've never been on stage before. And it felt like we'd been on stage together for 40 years. I was like, this is mad. So then I then got the Possessed tour, and I knew that Manchester wouldn't want to leave to do Europe, South America, because it's too far away. He wanted to stay close to home. So I thought, okay. And then he had a second heart attack. So I was like, fuck. So then the options were reduced even further. But I thought, well, okay, I accepted the tour, and I said to Curran, would you come with us? And we'll see if it does really work, because we've done one show, but let's kind of run it in, see what happens. And he took it with both hands and rang the crap out of it. And we had probably the most successful tour we've ever had in our existence. And again, I came back kind of shell-shocked and went, well, let's just keep going until the wheel falls off. Oh. And we haven't stopped yet. So, what people think is what they think. You can't change that. but it doesn't stop the machine going. But every time we play is an absolute joy, and we're running up for the American tour now, doing all the logistics, putting all the gear together, paid all the visas and all the flights and all the carriage for equipment and stuff, and the level of excitement is palpable. So
well, I can see that in your face.
yeah. And so it's like, and it's kind of strange because you don't get nervous when you've done it for so long. You don't kind of get worried about going on stage. I don't think about that anymore because that's the bit that I love the most, The logistics can be a bit stressful at times. And, I'm a bit of a workaholic and I do all the management and all the advanced stuff and for this. And so it is taking a lot on. But I kind of like that because you're dealing with people and I like dealing with people, to find out what doesn't work and see how you can make it work. So that's kind of enjoyable as well. But when it gets to shows, sometimes I would kind of, because I was doing so many other things and then performing, I didn't feel I was kind of prepared. Sometimes I'd be thinking, shit, I'm rushing myself to go on stage. And so I'm not really in the zone yet. And I couldn't afford myself that. The luxury the other guys had was they just, went on stage, did sound check, then sat around waiting to play. I mean, I never got to do that. So I was constantly, my mind was somewhere else. But with these guys, it's completely different. It's almost like I go on stage, it's like putting an old slipper on. It felt so comfortable. They were so supportive. They were so, excited by the whole thing. The energy level was constantly up in the air. And so going on stage was an absolute joy. It doesn't matter what was going on, So yeah, the whole experience at the minute it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Yeah. I just wish I was 20 years younger and then I'd enjoy it even more, I got to be careful at my age.
You are what now? 18 years old, right?
Yes. I'll be 19 in a year and a half. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much. And your Christmas present with the cash in is in the post.
Thank you. So, however, I have to ask because I'm a longtime fan of Venom, and so is is Mantas out of the band?
Well, he made a statement. He made a statement about a year, probably a year and a half ago, when his wife was sick, and he kind of a statement went out in the press that I didn't know was going to go out, but it just said that he wasn't going to do any shows until further notice.
Okay.
So he felt he wanted to express that to people, They live in Portugal. They're quite secluded in a lot of ways. Not a load of friends around him. I mean, that's how he likes it. But he felt he wanted to stay there and be there for her, which of course you had to.
Yes.
And so, but he put the statement and said he wouldn't do shows for further notice. So I just took that on board and thought, well, there's no pressure. I'll just keep going. I'll keep the bus driving. The engine's running. And if she's better, because that's what we were hoping for, that she would be fixed. And when it's time, then we'll just carry on, just come back and off we go. But I was at a point where I've got an obligation to the label, to the manager, to the agents, to the bookers, to the, I can't just go, that's a lot of people who then don't make any money. So I have to keep it going. And we you can't take advance from publishing companies or from record labels and then just run away with the money. That's not how it works. So I had to keep working to push sales to pay them back for what they'd generously given us as an advance. So that was going to happen. And I think then it got to about halfway through last season, or maybe it was just before the season, she was doing better and he felt really good and he started to run through the material. We had a Belgian festival coming up, was going to be the first one. I think it was before Hammersonic, so it must have been festival before this year. And he felt good. He was looking good and he sounded good and he sounded positive. Then I didn't hear from him for 3 days. And then when I do get in touch with him, he's in hospital and he had a second heart attack.
Oh, boy.
And of course, physically you might be okay, but mentally that's like 2 hits, and I think that he just doesn't want to die running through an airport or walking on a stage in another country 1,000,000 miles away from home, and I can understand that, so, again, we were back to, okay, well, okay, you don't want to tour, so I'll do the touring, and then when the festivals come up, we'll just see if you feel good about doing them. That was the idea. But then he was out of the game, so we just continued on while he stayed home and recuperated, really. And I kept sending him messages going, just whenever you're ready, there's no pressure. Don't worry about anything. Just get well, and then when you're ready to go, go. And then I kept making sure he was okay for money and everything like that. And then what was it, last week or something? Someone sends me an image from the internet saying, "Oh, why is Mantas not coming back?" And I was like, "Pardon?" And then I get to see this blabbermouth thing where he said he's not coming back, and it's like, okay, so I don't know. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, he's my brother. I love him. I don't want him nothing bad to happen. But I just need him to be happy. And if he's happy being at home and recording in his home studio, his stuff that he does there, then fantastic, I can't make him go out. I wouldn't try and make him go out on the road
no.
against his wishes. So, but Venom Inc. is bigger than the people involved, and it means something, And there's new fans, not just old 60-year-olds with plastic bags.
That is right. However, with Manda, do you see guys at least working on new music together?
Well, we'd already done 2 albums worth when we put the last album out. So we'd overwritten because it was supposed to go across 2 albums. That was the idea. The original idea was to have it as a double album. So first album would go out. It was all about Dante's Inferno and the 9 Circles of Hell. So it was your journey through life, from life to death. And that was the idea. But very quickly, when he had his heart attack, that changed because the meaning of him not seeing any light and seeing there's only black, I was like, wow, that's it. There's only black. And so we went from there. But we still have those recordings. So, at the moment that he's recording, he's spent the year recording some of that material. It's not Venom-esque. It's, kind of rock metal, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. It's very him. And he loves doing that. And he's singing. So if he wants to do that, that's fine. The tracks, I've been writing more stuff throughout the year. So this 2025 will see 2 live albums go out, an EP, a new EP with this lineup, and a new album. When we get to the album at the end of the year, if he still feels that he's doing what he does and he wants to just do that, then I'll let him do that. But if he feels he wants to, push something down the tube, then absolutely, because, it was us. It was us. We were like a double act on stage. We were the Laurel and Hardy or whatever it is, or the Batman and Robin of music. So, it feels weird being without him there. Mm-hmm. So however he wants to do it, I'll be open to however he wants to do it. As long as he's alive and he's okay and he's happy, then I'm happy. That's the point of everything. There's more things to life. Yeah.
And I hope us asking so many questions about him doesn't sound like we love him. We don't want anything bad to happen to everyone. And sometimes, the thing that people don't realize is that when we are following a band, we look 3 or 4 or 5 guys on stage. We don't know anything what's happening on the background. We have no idea. And always we want that lineup.
Yes.
Man, that's, I don't know.
But, I think the thing is that's the thing of music, when, I first saw Motorhead in 78 or whatever with that lineup. Mm. And the first song I ever heard was Motorhead. And hearing that song now, when I'm 61 years old, still makes me feel like I remember hearing it the first time and remember seeing those characters. And all 3 of them are dead now. But and Mickey D and Phil and Wurzel and everybody that's contributed, Pete Gill and the whole thing, Brian Robertson, I've got my favorite things about all of that. But for me, if I heard the 3 of them playing that album, No Sleep or Motorhead or Overkill, I was that person again. And so I totally get when people, it's not that they don't particularly like you or they don't particularly like what you're doing. Maybe sometimes it is that, of course, you know, we have our favorite sounds and stuff, but I think it's more about they feel that you're taking something away from them, you know, by the history that they have that connects them to that. And you know, and I tell people with Venom, I said, but you know, the whole point of having Abaddon and having Mantas there and me fronting it was to keep it flying, keep the flag going. You know, when Kronos left was to keep it going in the same, for me, the same drive that was exciting for everybody. And so I gave 100% to that. And even now, you know, if we were out with Mantas and Abaddon, people could come and see those guys that were on that record. They could also go and see Kronos doing Venom. So more you could see all the guys. Okay, they weren't in the same spot at the same time, but you could still see that guy singing with that voice and that guy playing that solo and that guy drumming that sound. So for me, that was a value. And because life beats us down, because death is inevitable and age is inevitable, it would get to a point where, you know, like Lemmy, he didn't want to go. He'd rather keep playing, but
yeah,
you can't beat death, you know. And so, you know, as you age, it becomes a bit more difficult. Decisions become a bit more personal and a bit more, you know, salvageable. You want to look after yourself and you want to have maybe a quiet time in your life. And so, you know, people make choices like that. We can't prevent that. We can only support that if we truly love them. And so the music is always there. And while I can take that music and play it to a 20-year-old or a 16-year-old or a 17 or 18-year-old who never ever saw it but has heard the legends and has heard that music, if I can play them Welcome to Hell or 1,000 Days of Sodom or black metal or anything that I've done, then why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I? I want them to feel what we all got to feel when it was all there and happening. And so that to me is passing the torch on.
Yes, and old people like myself, we keep forgetting that we have maybe 2 or 3 generations now. Metalheads who have never heard all the songs that you just said.
Yeah, so yeah, they didn't get that.
Yeah, getting the opportunity to hear from Kronos, from Tony. I love that Abaddon is playing live. I hope Mantas keeps writing music. So yeah, at the same time, as you described, when we see lineups like that stop playing live, it's like something inside us dies. Right?
Yeah, totally.
That's why that's the wrong thing to do, though. We get angry and we write, oh, this guy shouldn't go on. This is not Venom. This is not Venom Inc. I don't know why we become so selfish. I don't know.
Yes, but it's understandable.
It is.
Because it evokes our emotion, it evokes our value, and we value our memories. And, you know, who doesn't want to be 18 or 21 again? And that all makes you 18 or 21 again. You know, when I used to say it to people, I said, well, you know, come to the show, close your eyes if you don't want to watch it. So close your eyes and just listen to the music. And maybe that will bring you back to that point. Because at the end of the day, when you bought that album or bought that song, you sat in your room by yourself. The band were sitting next to you. You know, and I've walked through venues where people have gone, Mantas, I love you. And I've gone, yeah, cheers. And, you know, Jeff's walked through venues where people have gone, Abaddon, I love you. You know, it's like, so, you know, you, me, and everybody else knows who the people are, knows how they've aged and how they've changed and keeps up with that. But, you know, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old who's frantically shaking Welcome to Hell or black metal or whatever it is, primeval in their hand, doesn't know who those people are. They could be standing next to them. They don't know what they look like now because that was just a snapshot of time.
Yes.
But they do know what the music sounds like. They do know what the music means. And so if you transcend that and just put the music in there, you know, we've done big shows with pyros and ramps and all that shit, and we did the black metal anniversary shows at Alcatraz and you know, closed the main stage and did all that. But, you know, even on the tour, I put club shows in, and, you know, people go, oh, they're putting club shows in because they can't fill a venue. That's not why the club shows are in. It's not why I have opening bands that are local bands. The whole point of it is that's where I come from. And when you're in a club and the music is just overpowering you, it doesn't matter who's on stage doing it. You've just got the energy of everybody and the music to go crazy to. And that was the point of Venom. Much like Sex Pistols, it was putting the finger up to the corporates, to the controlling body, to the people who would dictate what you would hear on the radio, what you would see in the magazines. It was a big finger to go, fuck it, we're just going to go straight to the people. That's the whole point of it. It gives a young person a voice to go, I can do that, and I can say something, and I can be anti-establishment or whatever it is, and the kids haven't changed. Okay, they're on smartphones now, and they look up every now and then. They got more information than we ever had. They got more contact with the world than we ever had. They're so much more wise than we are because they've got a dictionary and a fucking television and everything's in their hand. Mm-hmm. But they still are human, and they still get oppressed at school. They still feel they're oppressed by their society and by their parents and by where they live, and nobody understands them, because that's what happens to kids. So what I try and do, particularly using the whole Venom ethos from Venom Inc. or Empire or whatever we've done, is to take that on stage, to go, we are your brothers, we're your big brothers, we're your dads, we're your whatever. You are free to do whatever you need to be you, and nobody's going to judge you. And if they judge you, you tell them you're the sons of Satan.
Yes.
And then that's the point of it, to liberate them, to go, and now they hopefully will then see that, experience it, be inspired to go and be the next Pantera, Metallica, Behemoth, whatever it is. They will take that flame and they'll burn it bright for themselves, and then another generation will be looking at them in the same way. And that's the whole point of this.
Although I have to say that for 17-year-olds, having this phone, as you said, I think people are feeling more oppressed by these things right now.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. The pressure has multiplied by tenfold or 100 times.
Yeah. So that's case in point. Have you, I'm sure as some of the viewers, listeners, we've all done it. We've walked out the house, got in the car or went to wherever it is, and then remembered you haven't got your phone on you. And there's like a panic that sets in. There's a fucking panic. It's like, oh, shit, my phone. We're like, what's going to happen? Someone's going to call you that you were desperately waiting for, or someone's going to like something on Facebook and you're not going to know it. It's like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. So, that's also the thing, because people go, that I'm amenable. When I go to concerts, I walk around the venue and I chat to people and I just make myself available. But that's also the point, to go that, you're looking at all your media, you're seeing all these things online, but I'm right here. So you don't have to be chatting in a chat bot to me. I'm right in front of you. Just come and chat, and we can actually talk, and you can actually sense the actual person that's there. And then when the concert happens, once I've done that, when we play, they don't get their phones out. They're not phoning it. The people who are further back, and the people who didn't come and say hi, because they're just capturing the moment. But all the people that I touched and spoke to, well, I didn't touch them because that's illegal, but you know what I mean? The ones that I've integrated with, none of them get their phones out, because they now feel, I know who this is. And, that's the communication of the music. I've said it a million times and I'll say it again. You could be in Beijing where I can't even ask for a cup of coffee or where's the toilet, because I don't know which Mandarin accent they're talking, and I don't understand Chinese. And they can't answer me because they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, because they don't speak English. But we get on stage and play Countess Battery, and we're all smiling and singing Countess Battery. The music transcends everything: color, language,
universal
religion,
language, man.
Politics. It's universal. Yeah, it's universal, and it particularly speaks to our soul, and particularly when we're young and we latch onto that as the hope, as the thing that's going to get us through the shit stuff. And so so fast forwarding that, when the band changes, I went to see Iron Maiden when they first kicked off, and I thought they were fucking mind blowing. And I love Paul Di'Anno. And then I'd seen a band called Samson with a guy called Bruce Dickinson, and I didn't like Samson because I didn't like his vocal. I was like, I'm not into all that kind of vocal. I like it a bit more hardcore because I'm a punk. So they do Killers, then Paul's leaving. Oh, Paul Di'Anno's kicked out. What? No, fucking hell. And they got a new singer, but he's great. Oh, right. Who? Bruce Dickinson. And I was then they bring out Number of the Beast, and listen to it, you just think, oh, fucking hell, that's like amazing. And they've never stopped. So, but why did I think Paul was better than Bruce? Of course not. Did I think I just thought I'd attached myself to that moment in time and I didn't want to lose it. And now I was losing it. But of course, in reality, I didn't lose it. I can listen to those songs anytime I want. I can, because of the phone, I can watch video, YouTube, everything's there. Everything's there. The moments in my history are there, and so it's fantastic. Sometimes I'll go back to listening to and watching some video from No Sleep Till Hammersmith, which was the first album I ever did. And I tell people that because it was recorded at 2 nights, one in Leeds and one in Newcastle, and I was in the crowd at Newcastle. So when I hear the audience shouting, I'm one of those voices. So I tell people that was my first album, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Motorhead. I was, yeah. But I'll go back and listen to it because I remember the night, and they're seeing them telling everybody it's being recorded tonight, so we want to hear you all shouting. So we were shouting extra loud, and there's the album forever. And I was there. So, I didn't want Lemmy to die or Phil to die or Eddie to leave and die. I want them to last forever. And so, but I have that moment inside me and I have the music available to me. So I didn't lose the moment. I've climbed over that. There's new moments coming. So I embrace the new moments. You can't, even at that point where I loved that so much and didn't want to lose it. I watched, Motorhead at Wacken is next level Motorhead. I'm like, oh my God, that's like so fucking brilliant. So was that better? No, it was just that was when I was then and now I'm now. So yeah.
It's exactly as we age, right? We are not the same thing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so, and that's very difficult when you're playing older material from when you were younger. It's hard to kind of sometimes, I witnessed it, to have the same spirit that they had, because then they were a bit rambunctious and drinking too much beer and kicking tables over and they didn't care. And, like it's like, oh, fuck off, who cares? And as you get older, you become a bit more respectable. Go, don't, you spilt that water, pick it up, or somebody get a mop. You then do care, and you're trying not to. You want to be anarchistic, but in a way you're kind of promoting that you are, but maybe you're not in your life because you're dealing with life as a grown-up. But inside, it's what happens inside, and that's the beauty of the music. Playing upstate Washington. And I came off stage and there was a guy who was standing there, huge guy, looked like fucking Santa Claus, big beard, and he was crying. And I passed him several times. And then I stopped and I said, man, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. I said, well, because you're crying. And he's like, what is it to you? And I was like, well, it's nothing to me. I just wanted to make sure you're okay. If you're okay, you're okay, whatever. And he said, you did this. And I said, I did that. I said, oh shit, man, did I hit you with my bass or something? He went, no. When you played Live Like an Angel. What? And he said, the first time I ever heard that, I was 14. And when you played it tonight, I slowly closed my eyes and I was 14 again and I started crying. It felt like it was then. And I said, that's the whole point. So I did the job. If it feels real, then it's real. And that's what we're going for. It's not a pantomime. It's not just a show to get some cash or cash in on anything. It's about the music being as real for you as it was for us then. And if a young person can feel that, and a 60-year-old at the same time can feel that, then you're doing the magic. That's the magic of music.
I can definitely relate to that because the first time I saw you guys, it was with Mandas and Abaddon at Reggie's.
Yeah.
You did Buried Alive, man.
Yeah, that moment, those moments, aren't they?
Damn,
and
man,
the thing is, because obviously Reggie's is close to my heart and Chicago, and doing that when you feel that, I feel that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
The minute you start to play, and then people are like, oh, it takes you somewhere else. You feel that, and then there's a thing going on between everybody that just is like, like dipping us all in a vat of warm chocolate. We're all going at the same time. You know what I mean? Doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, it's this situation when the music grows more than the persons themselves.
Yeah.
I know it's maybe hard to say it, or for some people to hear that, but that's the reality.
Yes. I mean, everybody wants to, when you have those songs, when the songs mean something, when the band has meant something, and those particular songs are so huge in your life, and you love them so much, you want that thing, if it's ever performed, to be that way forever. And of course, we all want that. We all want that, but you can't always have that. But does that mean there's no value in it still being done and you still feeling the emotional connection to it? Of course there is. And you have to accept that you're the older, you the first level, and there's other levels to that, and they should experience the same thing. And I think probably as a fan too, certainly as a performer, but as a fan too, when I talk to a young fan about Motorhead, if they're wearing a Motorhead shirt or something like that, man, it's Christmas for me. And they must go, this fucking old guy's mental. Because I'm like, oh my God. And when they did, and what do you think of, and so I want them to get as excited about it as I am. Not just wear the shirt, not just go, yeah, dig Motorhead, but like, wow, but did you hear this? And when they did this, and give them reference stuff, get them excited about it. And when they are excited about it, then it's just wonderful, because that you've connected the years, and there's value in you still walking on stage and being there. It's like going to the whiskey. We were playing the Whiskey A Go Go again, but I remember we did it, myself, Mantas, and Abaddon on the first run tour, when we done Arvia, and we went and did an interview with Jimmy Cabs at his place in just like out of Hollywood, and we got taxis back to the venue. And as we were coming back along Sunset Boulevard, there was a big queue along the block to get in to the building. Well, you've got the Whiskey A Go Go, and then right next to it is the Roxy, and then of course there's a Rainbow. It's my favorite part of LA. And as we were coming along, there was this big long crowd, and I said to Jimmy, I said, wow. Fucking hell, the crowd's mounting up. And he went, yeah, that's good. And I said, right. He said, yeah, it's sold out for you. And I was like, is it? Oh my God, great. It's not the biggest venue in the world, but it's iconic. So I was like, oh, that's fantastic. We're going to have a good night. And I said, but where are all these young girls and Hispanic kids going? And they went, what? I said, well, all those ones queuing up. I didn't realize there was another. Is there a club upstairs, or is it the Roxy? They went, no, they're coming to see you. I said, I swear to God, it looked like just everybody was 17 or 18. And I was like, they do know that we're three really old English white guys, don't they? But when we went in and played, they lost their minds. And I thought, if this is not a testament to why this band and this music has value today, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. And what is the choice? To not come here and do this because it's expensive, or because that guy isn't this guy, isn't that guy? Or was there value in just playing this to these kids who were losing their shit? That was the value. That's the value in the music, and I'm like everybody else. As a fan of the band, a long associate of the band, and we're a progression, an extension of the band. We're incorporated. So we're what Venom was, and we're us too. And that's the whole point of this, not to be another Venom, which people go, there's Venom 1 and Venom 2. This is stupid. It's like, no, it's just more great stuff, in my opinion. So it's like you can see whatever kind and hear the songs played however you want to hear them. But it's all about the promotion of that, and so there's value in all of it, I think. And if Conrad's Venom wants to do just festivals or odd shows, I mean, now he's done some South American shows, which is great. He should do more touring, but for whatever reason he doesn't. But if he did, fantastic. More is better. Just let's spread the message and just do it, because the value is in the music, which is so glorious when it's done right, and whether it's done with intent. So you can't cabaret this stuff. You can't walk on and just do, oh yeah, this is buried loud, and play all the right parts and not care about it. You have to do it with the atmosphere, like it was done, and that's when you evoke the emotions from people. If you're on stage and you smile, everybody smiles. If you're on stage and you're pissed off, everybody knows you're pissed off. They get pissed off. So it's like, keep that energy level, drive them, let them drive you, and share the moment. And then everybody elevates himself into a frenzy. And like in Mexico, we did, Poland and Rock, they were coming in. So, they were coming in, and they said, oh yeah, it'll be a big crowd. And we played to help the festival out. We just done Romania, and a band had dropped out. Sick of it all, were sick. I don't know if they were of all, but they were sick. And so they called us and said, "You guys are in Romania. Can you pop over and maybe open the festival?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." So we did. No sleep. We went straight there. And we went on stage. There was a nice, healthy crowd coming in, and all of it just kept coming. And by the end, I could not see the end of it. It was like 500,000 people. And we had pyros going, and it was like, and when we played Countless Bastard, we couldn't hear the PA. It was so loud. And I was like, wow. And they were just elevated. And I was like, this is what it's all about. This is the intent of the music. And to experiencing that so many years later, from another generation, I mean, that's as good as it gets. That's as good as it gets. You know, it might not be a house in Malibu or a Ferrari or whatever it is you want to fucking have. I'm not into things myself, but if that's your bag, you know, it might not be chicks and booze and drugs, but that's what it's all about. To have that amount of people and their voices and their energy pouring towards you with big smiles on their faces. I mean, that's it. That is the cup. That is the medal. That is the target. You know, that's the communication, what you've just done.
So I will say something crazy. I wish at some point one festival brings Venom Inc., and all the members of Venom Inc., and do a, oh man.
Well, you know, the thing was, I'd watched, it was several years ago. I mean, I think Jeff actually made a statement where he'd kind of said, wouldn't that be good? Or some kind of reunion thing. But, and it was coming up to the black metal anniversary. But what had happened was I'd seen Destruction do exactly that. They played Wacken and they did an anniversary, and they had all the drummers and all the guitarists, and everybody ended up on stage at the end. And I thought that was the most amazing thing. And I thought, you know, nobody would expect myself and Krona. They wouldn't be expecting the three of them to get back on stage. Maybe they would want it, but they wouldn't expect it. But they certainly wouldn't expect me to walk on with Kronos and do songs together.
Oh,
wouldn't that be mind-blowing? It would be mind-blowing. And so I know that at the time I was talking about, I was looking for Clive Archer, who was the original singer, to see if he'd come and do Angel Dust. Abaddon would do it. I know Mantas would do it. Al Barnes, of course, Jim Clare, Mike Hickey, and even his Dante and Rage. So the sticking point was obviously Conrad would, would stay away from it. But I think it would be the most glorious thing in the world to have the whole family just playing all the material. And, you know, what a show. We've all aged somewhat. And so, you know, wanting to have a 1984 show again from three very young 20-year-olds is not going to happen. You know, even if they did any show like that, it wouldn't be that. It would be something different, which isn't bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it wouldn't be what you think in your head it's going to be.
Of course.
So it would need to be something ultra special. And I think for me, that would be next level crazy. That would be next level crazy, you know?
Anyhow, for the US tour, how many songs should we expect?
Well, at the minute, I've got a rack of 40. I've got 40.
That's good.
And
That's good.
And then then the other day, because Curran was completely going, fucking hell, man, there's so many songs. I said, but that's what's great about this is like there's always something you haven't played yet, and there's always something to play. And you could play 50 songs in a set and still someone go, yeah, but you never played blah blah. It's like, oh my God. So I just thought, right, I want to take songs from all of the singles, from all of the albums that I can, from B-sides, obscure songs we'd never played, songs they never played, and put them together. So, you know, I don't ever remember them playing, you know, Cry Wolf or, you know, and of course Manitou we did, but only once or twice, you know. Woman, I did Lady Lust, I did Dead as the Night, but Woman hasn't been done. You know, we did Bursting Out, but Acid Queen was never done. So, you know, I'm looking at things like that. And also, of course, from my albums, you know, I've done every song now except Into the Fire and Skeletal Dance, which are now in the set. You know, Accursed, did some tracks off Cursed, but never did Cursed or Crucified, so they're in the set. You know, from Temples of Ice, you know, lots of stuff from Temples of Ice that's never been done. Just, just looking through the live and everything that me and Jeff have done for so long, for 36 years, and thinking, oh my God, even on the Mantas albums and on Empire albums, we had songs that were great songs and still were in that same vein of the Venom family. So, I'm just looking at everything. I want to pull everything out. So, and because I also done so many songs, because these days, like we said about social media, when we went to a show, even if you got a set list, the only other people that saw the set list were your mates, because you pulled the set list and you went home, and if someone came around to your house or you went round to theirs, you show them it. That was it. And then people were trying to remember what songs we played. When you go, oh, what did they play? And I was like, well, they played this, and did they play that? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, they did play. Whereas now, people come to a show, you got 30 dates, and at the first show, they're fucking taking pictures of the set list, and it's posted online. And I'm saying, do you not get? That's like going to a movie and then telling everybody
what happens in the end.
Happens. You just told them the end. So it's like, there's somebody has bought a ticket and may have waited for fucking 2 or 3 years to see the show, and you just told them what's going to happen. So man, I wanted to have enough songs that every night will be a different night. So you might hear something someone else has never heard, and they might hear something you don't get to hear. And you'll be like, oh, fuck, I wanted to, this didn't, but then that means you don't know what's going to happen. And what I always liked about Venom, and Conrad would evoke that, and they would evoke that in the early days, was like the beauty about Venom. And we even said it ourselves, well, you don't know what's going to happen. Yes. It's like you get in the car, you're going to start the engine, you're going to drive maybe 80 to 100 miles an hour. Whatever happens, happens. And hopefully you'll get there, but you might not. But who cares if you don't? You're going to have fun doing it anyway. And so that's what I want from this whole tour, just to have people excited to go, I don't even know what's going to happen. I don't know what songs they're going to come out with. I hope they play this. I hope they play that. And then the magic is when you hit the button, when you hit the nail with the hammer, bang in the middle, and you play that song that person was hoping you played, the emotion from that and the joy from that is, like you said about when you started talking about Buried Alive, when you said about that, Reggie's, the hairs on my arm stood up, because I remember that feeling. And it's like, yeah, those moments are magical. So I want to create those moments every time we play, every time.
Awesome. Last question. So the band is still with Nuclear Blast, right?
Yeah.
So you said 2 live albums and an EP. Will those be released in 2025? What's the plan?
Yeah, that's the idea. I mean, I don't think the live things will go through Nuclear Blast. They're kind of like official bootleg things. So they're going to go out specifically because we did the shows in South America. So we're going to do them kind of like offside things so that each territory has something to remember the shows by, because we were playing so many shows to so many people that I wanted to give Chile, for example, this is for you. So they'll be exclusively for them. It was recorded in Chile. They get to have that, and that's theirs, and if people want to hear that, then they can. And the same thing for Colombia or for Brazil, and so we did it at Poland and Rock and everywhere else. And for this whole tour, we're recording every show on this whole tour for America, and then we'll pull together something so there's something ultra special. And I just thought, I'm 61, I want to just keep putting music out. So those will go out through there. Then the EP, we'll do that in the new album with Nuclear Blast. And yeah, it's all good. It's all good. The EP is kind of an interim thing. We had this idea, and I've been working on this these 2 songs in particular. And so I wanted to bridge the gap with There's Only Black. So that's why the tour's Beyond the Black, because it was a questionable thing. Like, is there only black was the question. There's only black. If you turn the lights out, if you die, if you go to the end of the universe, it seems like there's only black. But if you give yourself a moment to adjust, is there only black or is there something else there? So I don't know, but you have to find out. So it's about that. So the next step is Beyond the Black. What is beyond the black? And maybe it's an analogy for your life, that in order for you to find out, you have to do it. You have to experience it. You don't know what it's like to land on the ground after a 10,000-foot parachute jump unless you jump out of the plane. And you might shit yourself, but you won't know what happens, how you feel when you hit the ground. When you might hit the ground and go, that was the best thing in my life. You might hit the ground and go, I'm never going to fucking do that again because it's stupid. But you wouldn't know until you did it. So that's an analogy for life, challenge yourself. Don't put limits on yourself. Don't think you can't. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. You find out who you are and you do it yourself. And you may surprise yourself at what you're capable of once you free yourself. So that's the whole point of that. So yeah, that's where the EP is a kind of stepping stone between There's Only Black and Beyond the Black.
Tony, thank you very much for your time. See you in Chicago on the 20th of January.
Yeah, baby. Now that's the day before my birthday.
That's what I was about to say. So,
you, obviously you're on my guest list, but you're going to be sharing my bottle of Jack with me because it's my birthday. So the next day. So
absolutely. So I'm waiting. No, I will not. I was about to ask a song, but I won't because I want to be surprised.
Yes, that's it. That's it. You want to hear, what it is what it is, but just to let yourself just have it. It's like, it's like Christmas, innit? You you got a big present. You're hoping it's one thing, but you don't know what it is.
And the joy of it. Last thing, when you talk to Mantas, please send him our love.
Absolutely. I'm sure he'll see this and I'm sure he'll hear that, but I absolutely will. Don't worry. And for everybody out there, we love him and we support him and we want the world with him. And that's how it is, So absolutely. Let's just hope the best and see. We'll take it as it comes. I was once in the Sioux reservation talking to a Sioux chief up in Montana, and he said, be in the water, stand in the river. The river always flows. What passes you, let it go. What's coming, you don't know. Just let it touch you. Just touch you. Be in the moment. So that's where we all are, in the moment. Don't try and guess what's going to happen. Let's just see where we go.
Man, you gave me goosebumps. Take good rest.
Absolutely.
Gather your strength and see you in the North US.
Yes, very soon, very soon. Yeah, and we're going to be drinking whiskey for my birthday. I love it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Damien, and thank you, MetalKaoz, and everybody out there. I'll see you fucking soon. Come to the shows. Come to the shows. I'm swaying. Don't let the politics go away. Just come. Let yourself go. Be free with us.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Talk to you soon. Absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.